Welcome to the Breaking 90 podcast, where we talk about all things sustainable fat loss. We take people on 90-day journeys to creating fat loss forever. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Breaking 90 podcast. I'm your host, Alex Harriman, and I'm here with my co-host, Kelly Sarlo, and we are two of the coaches of Breaking 90 Fitness. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed today's topic.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I know this isn't going to air on the same day, but it's the first day of school for 2023.
Yeah.
And I made sure to send out messages to all of my friends who have children and said, flood me with first day pictures.
Cool.
So I just have a slew of photos and videos of all these little kiddos dressed up so sweet, walking to school, biking to school. It was such a happy morning.
Yeah, it's so crazy because he's like Emerson's first day of school is today, and like so many mixed feelings about summer coming to an end and getting back to school and seeing his friends. And then we got to the school and it was chaotic and there was like kids everywhere and teachers everywhere, and I didn't know what a teacher looked like, and it was just like, it's stressful but it's exciting at the same time. Yeah, beginning of school is wild. It's so much different now being on the parent side of things instead of the student side of things.
Do you have just as much anxiety being a parent as you did a kid?
I didn't have anxiety as a kid. I was always excited for the first day, to see my friends and to see, I really like the unknown. And so like not knowing what class I was going to be in, who was going to be in my class, like all of that excited me. But that by like day 2, I was like, okay, I'm done with school now. I got what I came for and now I'm done.
All the surprises are gone. That makes sense for you, actually.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyways, it's fun being on the parent side of things now. So Emerson was excited, nervous. He was feeling all the feels. So I'm excited to hear how the day went.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, what do you got?
So I don't have a number in mind. This is kind of like a list show, but people will know by the time they click on the title. I was
7.
thinking like 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I was going to choose that. Okay, I'm going to hold you to it.
Yeah.
7 things you wish people knew about fat loss.
Okay, I could hit 7 for sure, but we might go over.
That's fine.
All right.
Let me set the stage too.
Okay.
We have a ton of podcasts in our bank that people can go back and listen to, which is super exciting. And they're all on specific topics, geared to people's particular interests. And I just think that for anyone who's at the very beginning of wanting to lose weight, this might be something that just kind of helps them ease into it, feel a little bit more confident with it, if you're just kind of firing off things that you wish they knew heading into that process.
Good.
Go.
Good. Okay, number 1, gonna start off with fat loss and weight loss aren't the same thing.
Love it.
I think that's important to start with, because what most of you listening to this want is fat loss, and what most of you listening to this say is weight loss.
Cool.
And we do it too as coaches. We talk about it, and part of the reason we talk about it in that sense is because it's marketing. Most people listening to this can resonate maybe more with the idea of weight loss, so we talk about weight loss, but truthfully, you guys would be happier with fat loss. I can guarantee it. If that number on the scale never changed, but your body transformed, you would be happier than the number on the scale changing and your body not transforming.
Okay, this is blowing my mind already. And I don't think it's just because it's marketing. I think it also comes from a place of people taking personal offense to the word fat, right?
Yep.
It's not something that we're supposed to talk about anymore or comment on or anything like that. And I understand that there's some really great, ideas and reasons that we approach it from that perspective. But when you are talking about it from a physiological standpoint, fat loss versus weight loss, it is important to be able to access language.
Yeah. And so I know personally I've offended people in the past by asking if they want to learn about fat loss. because people will take it as an implication that I'm saying they're fat, and that's not what I'm saying. Most people would like to lose some fat, even lean, super lean people, if they were given the option to lose some fat and not lose weight, probably would take it. And so you're absolutely right. I don't have anything else to add there, but you're right.
I love hearing that, so continue.
Okay, so that's important. They're not the same thing. They often go hand in hand. Don't get me wrong. They often go hand in hand. You're going to lose weight and fat at the same time, lots of times, but not always. And they're different things, and that's important to start with. So I'm going to go number 2, that in order to lose weight, we need a calorie deficit. Okay, that means that in order to make that number on the scale go down, we need to be in a calorie deficit over time. There's other factors like water retention that are going to affect it in the short term, but long term. So I'll start just by saying a calorie deficit is eating less than we're burning. Okay, and now to lose fat, you probably need a calorie deficit. Okay, but because they're different things and we know that now, not necessarily. You can lose fat. You can lose fat without being in a calorie deficit. It's much harder. And here's the thing too. If we're talking total pounds of fat, you will need a calorie deficit to lose fat. If we're talking fat percentage, you won't necessarily need a calorie deficit because you could put on muscle, which would offset the percentage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're blowing my mind. We're only at number 2.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So okay, let's go to number 3, because I think we've said enough for number 2.
Okay.
Number 3, if your goal is fat loss, we can approach this by losing fat or gaining muscle to offset that percentage that I touched on in the last point. And so most of you, if your goal is to lose fat, your goal is to improve your body composition. It's not like seeing that number go down on the scale isn't as significant as just looking at yourself and be like, oh yeah, I like better the way that I look now. And so that can happen by gaining muscle. It can happen by losing fat. It can happen by a combination of the two. And depending on who you are and where you're at in your journey, one of those may not be the right choice for you at that time. So it doesn't always mean we need to start with losing weight. There's definitely some people that should start with gaining muscle.
Love it. Do you regret 7?
What's that, sir?
Do you regret 7?
No, I could go way past 7. I'm just trying to put them in like a chronological order.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I wish you knew is that if your goal is fat loss, lifting weights is one of the best choices you could start making. And anybody who's listened to me enough would know that one for sure. But it's worth repeating because our automatic default is to cardio ourselves to death. And adding cardio in a sustainable fashion is great. It's a great tool. It's good for our heart health, but it's not as beneficial for fat loss as putting on some muscle mass. So strength training is so advantageous. And that doesn't mean you're going to look like a bodybuilder. You're never accidentally going to look like a bodybuilder. So don't be afraid of that, especially the women listening to this who have grown up in a society that creates fear around weightlifting. It doesn't need to be like that. It doesn't. I understand the intimidation of the gym, like that's something else on its own. But if you find the right atmosphere with the right people, it doesn't need to be intimidating either. But starting with weightlifting and challenging the muscle to grow and adapt will allow you to lose fat and transform your body at a much faster rate than just adding cardio to whatever you're doing. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Okay, what are we at, Kelly? 4?
This is going to be 5.
5? Okay, so from a nutrition standpoint, one of the biggest things you could do for yourself is add the stuff that's beneficial rather than focusing on removing the stuff that's working against you. So rather than starting by removing alcohol, removing sweets, removing junk food, removing things that aren't in line with your goals, start by adding more of the things that are in line with your goals. This works for many different reasons. So to break it down in simplest terms, it's fruits, vegetables, and protein. So when we add fruits, vegetables, and protein, fruits and vegetables both have a very low calorie count per unit, per gram of what we're eating. They're going to keep us full longer. They're ensuring that we have a nice wide range of nutrients, which is going to aid in our recovery and fat loss. And they did I say they keep you full longer? I think I did, but that's a big one, is that we're staying full and we're filling up on something that isn't as high calorie, so it allows us to be in a calorie deficit much easier. And then obviously protein is going to play a big role in that muscle development, which we hopefully are getting from adding strength training, the muscle recovery and development. So when we add these things, we're not creating a negative feeling of restriction that I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. We're saying I need to have more of this, I want to have more of this, I'm choosing to have more of this, which is going to complement me. And then because you're just not as hungry, you're just automatically going to eat a little bit less of those other things, which is going to create a more sustainable route for you. And it's also going to show up better. And so what I mean when I say show up better is that if we just focus on creating the calorie deficit, say your goal is 2,000 calories a day, and you just focus on hitting 1,900 calories every single day, and you eat that from complete shit foods, your body is going to lose weight, but you're not going to like the way it starts to look. You're going to lose muscle mass too. But when we focus on the fruits, vegetables, protein, we're maintaining and maybe increasing muscle mass, and we're creating a calorie deficit automatically because we're more full. We're not as likely to binge eat on those other things. We might still have some of them, but less. And now we're not losing muscle mass or as much of the muscle mass, and likely going to lose more of the fat. Anything you want to ask or add there?
No, that's excellent.
That doesn't mean that's automatically going to work, which is important. Adding fruits, vegetables, protein doesn't mean it's automatically going to work. It will leave you feeling better. It'll leave your body composition in a better place. It doesn't mean that you're automatically going to fall into a calorie deficit, but it's a really damn good place to start. Mm-hmm. What do I have? 2 more?
Yeah.
Might have to give you guys a bonus 1 or 2, but we'll see.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the 2 big hidden factors, which are sleep and stress, in my opinion. So we talk about movement and nutrition a lot, which are obvious no-brainers. Most people understand they should be moving more and eating better to get closer to their goals. The ones that are kind of the unknown and play in the background are sleep and stress. And the reason I want to address them is that if our sleep and stress are in a terrible place, it makes recovery very hard. If we can't recover, it's very hard for our body to lose fat. So most of our fat loss happens in state of recovery. Most of our recovery happens in a state of sleep. If we're not prioritizing sleep and our stress is out of whack, that creates a really difficult environment to optimize fat loss. It's still possible, but you're not making it easier on your body, is basically what I'm trying to say. So without going down the rabbit hole of what that looks like, I think most of us know how we could make our sleep situation a little bit better. And the beauty of it is they go hand in hand. Usually when we prioritize sleep, our stress management gets a little bit better. Usually when we prioritize stress management, our quality of sleep gets a little bit better. So they definitely feed off of one another. So I'd say if you want to start here, just start by prioritizing a little bit more sleep, more quantity. And in turn, that improves stress. In turn, that stress improvement improves quality of sleep, and it comes full circle.
Beautiful.
Anything you want to add to that one?
No, my tip is actually tied into that one, so I'm excited.
Okay. Okay. And then number 7 is make water your number 1 beverage. It's we sneak so I'm gonna have to go over 7. We sneak so many extra calories into our diet through drinks that don't fill us up at all, unfortunately. Like a 400 calorie drink and 400 calories of salad are going to fill you up very, very different. And that's an extreme example, but a 400 calorie drink and 400 calories of like a hamburger are still going to fill you up very differently, right? And so it's easy to overconsume beverages, and they're not aiding in recovery in the manner that that water does with its nutrient delivery and allowing for proper hydration, proper recovery. So just making it our primary beverage. And you'll notice I'm not saying eliminate those other beverages, but making water our primary beverage is going to be a big difference maker.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that one so that I don't have to go over 7 and say that this isn't just drinks. This is our sauces, our dressings, our sips, nibbles, and bites. These add up. These aren't free calories. We all want them to be free calories. I've talked to so many people about this that swear they're on track with their nutrition. They swear they're hitting their goals, but they aren't making progress. One of 2 things are happening here. A, you've got your goal set too high, or your target calorie goal set too high, so you're not actually in a calorie deficit. Or B, you're consuming calories without even realizing it, because all I had for dinner was a chicken breast. Well, was there barbecue sauce on that chicken breast? Yeah. Did you count it? Probably not. All I had for dinner was a piece of corn. What about the butter on the corn? Right? What about the dressing on the salad? These are the hidden calories that we often choose not to count or undercount big time. I had a tablespoon of salad dressing. Did you measure it? Because it was probably 4 or 5 tablespoons of salad dressing.
Yeah.
And so there's a significant difference there in the amount of calories we're consuming without a significant difference in the amount of calories we feel in our belly. We're not feeling 5 tablespoons of salad dressing full. We're feeling 1 tablespoon of salad dressing full.
Yeah.
And so that goes hand in hand with the water comment, though. It's just being really aware of those hidden calories.
This is an excellent list. I love to, like, for anyone who's just listening to this and maybe doesn't know the rhythm of our show, we put each other on the spot. Alex had no idea what I was going to ask about today. I know you're holding a pen right now, but I did not see you take any notes.
I didn't take any notes. I'm just holding a pen.
Yeah, and I want to say this because you chose 7 yourself, not knowing what we were doing. And you actually chronologically put this in a wonderful order for people to think about if they are taking notes, because the top 3 are things that are important to know when you're heading into fat loss to actually understand the process itself. And then 4 through 7 are the biggest tips to get you started. So I think this was a really, really valuable episode for a lot of people just getting started, and for those of us who need a refresher.
Yeah, and I joked about it earlier, but the list could go on and on. We could talk about this, like we could make this list 27. But these are important ones, and they came to mind instantly, so I might be missing one. Truth is, if you follow our posts, if you follow our social media, you're going to hear us repeat a lot of the same ideas and concepts, and that's important because we're not reinventing the wheel. I think this is a good starting point, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great topic. What do you got for a closing tip?
So related to number 6 that you spoke about, which was sleep and stress, I wanted to just remind or educate people who might not know about this, the importance of creating a great environment for your sleep quality, right? So things like decluttering your space to take away from the subconscious or conscious stress and anxiety in a cluttered room, as well as creating a cool temperature and a dark place, that's going to be an optimal space to get quality sleep over whether it's nighttime or shift work. However you can create that good environment, that's going to contribute to better sleep.
Agreed, 100%. And what a difference when your room is cool and when your body's not working in overdrive to combat that heat.
Yeah.
I know if I have like a big pizza feast before bed, my body runs so hot. If I eat pizza, my body runs so hot, and all night long I'm like hot, and that's destroying my quality of sleep.
Yeah.
So instead of having like 13 pieces, I just need to only have 8.
Oh my God. I hate you.
Everybody listening is like, what?
That's fat loss? Alex, this was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you guys really enjoyed this and you found it helpful. If you're interested in hearing what 8 through 20 would look like, reach out and have that conversation with me. I'd love to have that chat with any of you. So thanks for being here.